What is good, guys? Welcome to another trade breakdown. Today we're gonna break down the trade we took on gold today with pre and after NFP as well, and I'm also gonna break down Nasdaq trade as well. So today we have two breakdowns that resulted me in $27,000. You guys heard it right. Today mine went on a run again, and let me break it down for you guys how it was all possible. First of all, I'm here on my Discord. I put in a daily analysis. 11:08, 11:57 p.m. So that's on Thursday, right? Thursday night. So obviously Friday and today. So you guys can see, I was saying, look, 44.58. This demand would be looking for 50-minute buys. That's what I'm interested in towards 4,500, and obviously after that all-time high if that was possible. Then with Nasdaq, you guys can see what we tagged. We said, look, we either break structure and we push up from here, or we push down into this demand and then we significantly go higher. On Euro USD, I didn't do my analysis, so let me just get right in the breakdown. You guys can see this is gold here. Asia session, it was chopping quite a lot. Actually, no, my bad. We actually came into the demand on Asia session. You guys can see, for example, here we can see that price came into this demand during Asia session. This is not where I took the trade. I took the trade on the retest, first of all. I actually took two trades on gold, so I'll break down both the trades for you guys. So, okay, I'm recording. I was just checking if I was recording in it. My cat's just sleeping on my prayer mat, always making that shit dirty, but that's fine in it. So, anyways, price comes into the demand. It doesn't give my entry model, just break structure. So, I was waiting for price to come and retest. Actually, I didn't really want a retest. I preferably would want price to just go higher and grab a continuation, but obviously that didn't happen because we went quite down. Now you guys can see here that we did chop a lot, and then from here we had that chalk flip. I had to wait quite a while because these lows were untouched for a bit. We were kept on going up and down, so it was like in between. But then we gave that chalk flip, beautiful trade. Entry was right here, stops was right here, and so I was in this trade. I was targeting Asia high. Yeah, I was targeting Asia high. Everything was going good, everything was going well. We started retracing mad, then we started pumping mad, then we started retracing mad, then we started pumping mad. Like, it was pissing me off. And what I did is I put my stop loss at break even before I went to sleep. I just didn't get break even. Then we pushed quite a lot, and this is actually where potentially your second entry could have been, but I didn't take this trade. So then we chopped quite a lot. I think we came down one more time and then we pushed up again. And this was during Juma. I was in the mosque and I was fucking happy because we were pumping, right? And I was in with quite some lots because I think here I scaled in and trailed my stops. So I was chilling. I was happy. I was like, look, we're pumping, we're making bread. But what ends up happening is we get break even on this trailed SL here, right? So this was actually a good trade. Do I regret not taking profits here? I don't. I think this was a good trade, and I think my target was correct because the target had been met later on. So simply I was waiting. Then what we had is we had this low getting taken out, right? We had this low getting taken out. I was interested in potentially taking buys here, but I was like, the odds of selling off from anywhere, right? So any of these supplies are higher than the odds of towards Asia low pre NFP. So I was bullish for NFP, right? I knew. I can't say I knew, but I thought, look, NFP is most likely gonna wick down if we don't take Asia low before NFP, because I was shorting. I will show you guys a short as well. So that's three trades towards Asia low, and this is kind of a risky trade because we're not 100% certain that we will go to Asia low, but I was quite confident in myself and in my strategy that, look, we will go to Asia low, and from there on we will go up. And I will show you guys the buy limit as well because I placed a buy limit on Asia low. I didn't get filled, unfortunately, because if I did I would have made 16 racks instantly. So I will show you guys all of that as well. But so so we come in here in this demand and we start pushing up, and I'm not really interested in sells, not really interested in buys. I'm just looking around. We can see that we had this drop, then we had this push up, and this is getting close to NFP, right? But what I did was I simply put a sell here, and this is kind of risky, I knew, because it was like 1 minute before an FP, and my stop was this high, right? Actually, I think I did it on the next candle, if I'm not mistaken, when we dropped. Okay, so yeah, so on this candle, I took a sell, and you guys can see, I mean, here it didn't hit, but it did hit on my screen, because let me show you guys the trade. If we go to launch chat, I can show you guys that we did hit 58.54, right? And you guys can see the buy limit as well. I put in a 5 lot buy limit. I didn't get filled, but we went to full TP. If I go to show profit, then we can see obviously this is $8,722, and then we have that $17,000 profit, which is obviously 27K ish. I don't know where the profit is. I had the profit, but so the trade was like this, and I did hit TP. I don't know why it's not showing. Obviously, the trading view chart can be a little bit different because it's NFP, right? And then NFP hit. My limit didn't get filled, which is unfortunately. And then I was just looking for continuation buys to the upside, right? So far we've hit one trade. This was like 3R or something. Very risky trade. I was risking low on this trade. I was also in this trade on my Top Step live account, so I wasn't really that much stressed about slippage. Now, knowing that we took out Asia low, right? Because it doesn't show here, but I mean, I'm sure it will show up on another chart. Okay, it might not show on another chart. It's kind of weird, but we did take out Asia low, especially on the futures chart as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I don't really know. Well, we did take out the Asia low, or on IC markets, I could say, because IC markets is what I'm using. So then we had this push. Now, obviously, knowing that NFP numbers were green, I was like, okay, we're most likely gonna take out 4,500. So let me look for continuation bias to 4,500. You know, we start chopping. There is potentially a demand here, right? So it is possible to look for longs. We break structure. I was like, look, the odds of it coming back and then going higher is very unlikely. But it's kind of crazy because it exactly did that. Right? And it starts chopping around. I'm not, like, here I wasn't interested to buy. But when I saw this retracement, I was like, I might have to buy. And then on this push, I entered with my stops below this low and TP here. It was a quick 1 to 2. I was in my brother's shop. I was just doing some work. I didn't even notice that this was news, low-key. But I had TP within like 20 minutes, I think. So yeah, here's when I hit TP. Very good 2R. This was a very quick one. Reasoning of this trade, very simple, you know. Liquidity sweep, lowest point of demand, protecting that low. And the odds of it going lower from here were the odds of taking out these lows. So I wanted to take that risk. I think on top of I risked 500. I made a band. And then on my live account, I risked maybe 2 grand. And I made 4 grand because also made some money from PNP, so I was just risking that money. And then I also yeah, so that is that trade. So that was also a very beautiful trade. That's a very good and clean trade, but I think the first one was a bit cleaner. But I think the trade on Nasdaq was the most clean one. Obviously this trade was also very clean, but unfortunately we just didn't get TP'd, and we would have gotten taken out on this Asia low, so that wasn't really worth holding. And obviously holding that amount of size during NFP is kind of risky, so I was like, let me not do that. So then we go back here, right? So obviously I took 2 trades on Nasdaq. So you guys are getting a lot of breakdowns today. Like, I took 2 trades on Nasdaq. We had this break of structure. We had this retest, as I shown you in the daily analysis. You guys can see here on Nasdaq. You guys can see here 480, same exact zone. So we get into that demand. Obviously the demand is quite big, so you want to get the correct chalk flip. And here we do have the chalk flip. Now I don't enter specifically on this chalk flip. I entered quite late. I think we go up a bit and then we come down and then we go up and then we come down as well. Okay, I think it was here. So I do remember entering somewhere here, and I was risking, I think, a band on this trade, and I was just targeting Asia high, right? It was very simple, but I think we do chop around quite a lot, and then we come back and then we give another entry or some shit like that. I remember I scaled in, I think it was like 9 a.m. or something like that. So we do chop around quite a lot. Yeah, we chop, we chop, we chop, we chop. Like we keep chopping, and this low was my break-even low, and I knew like we probably gonna take out this low and maybe get a better entry or some shit like that. Here we chalk, we go to the upside. Like I was feeling good, you know. We're in profits, we're chilling. Now then we come down. We have a scuffed ass chalk where I didn't enter. So I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Am I gonna get an entry? Am I gonna get an entry? I'm just waiting. And then here we retest this demand and we give a chalk, right? So we have this liquidity sweep and then we have this break of structure. So I scale in here. And my stops obviously I take this low because obviously if it's gonna go there, it's gonna go there as well because I just wanted a slightly better risk reward. That's 3 RR, and obviously I trailed this trade stop loss to that low as well. So I was about maybe half R risk, but I was risking 2K on this trade, right? But I'm only risking 1K if you think about it. And we do end up chopping, but we do end up hitting TP for 6R, so I make $6,000 on this trade, which is where most of the profits on my top sub account comes from. So that's a very clean trade, very simple, very good. And then obviously NFP is gonna happen. I didn't really look at Nasdaq that much after NFP, so NFP pumped the fuck out of Nasdaq. But I was thinking, look, these highs are untouched. I was actually favoring these highs, which we came close to at market close. But I was favoring them highs, and I was looking like, look, what are the odds where we go up from? I was potentially looking at this demand with this low right here. Or potentially this low to take out Asia low, right? So we come here. You guys can see actually kind of pre-ordered it. But we come into the first low. We don't really give an entry here. I don't really see a chalk flip, and I'm like, actually, like I'm not really looking at the chart, so maybe I got lucky, maybe. And then we take out that low, and from that low, I instantly market executed, knowing that most likely we're gonna go here. And now let me give you guys a reasoning. There's also very intuition accordingly with this. But essentially, we're still in the same demand that we marked out yesterday, the same day. We took out Asia low after taking out early buyers right here. We took out anyone who wants to sell from a fair value gap, supply, whatever. So you got highs here, you got highs here, highs on the retest here. So loads of liquidity to the upside, right? And then you also have loads of liquidity to the downside, which is right here, which just got taken out. And this is a lot of early buyers, right? People who don't have the patience to wait for the Asia low to get taken out and who simply just want to execute manually. Execute on this low. And well, it didn't take long for this to hit TP. It took like 20 minutes maybe. So that hit TP. That was also another 3R. I think I made 3.5 grand on this trade. And from there on, it kept going up. So as I said, towards these highs. It didn't take out these highs yet. Probably Monday will or some shit. Whatever. You know, you have a lot of untouched highs here. Probably Monday gap open or some shit. But those were the trades. I made me $27,000. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video and learn something new. If you didn't, then it's just a skill issue.